wakey wakey, smell those eggs and bacon. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast covering a range of entrepreneurial and independent comics creation topics first thing in the morning. Of course, please like and share if you're enjoying our special seasoning. And be sure to subscribe to join us every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Let's talk.
Breakfast Talk!
Breakfast Talk!
Welcome back to Breakfast Talk, episode 5. I'm Greg with Sierra Nova Comics, and Hector is...
I'm this guy. I'm Hector from Newly Studios. I do stuff.
Nice. And I'm Dylan. I am co-founder, CTO, and editor-in-chief at Sierra Nova Comics.
And he's currently eating breakfast.
Welcome to Breakfast Talk.
He's the breakfast portion of Breakfast Talk.
Yeah. Today's topic is why crowdfunding should not be your business model. So we're going to dive into that.
Get into it. So basically, like, it's okay to utilize it to get off the ground, or
Right.
like, say you want to do something special that's not your main thing and you want to test something, you know, that's not a bad idea. So it's not bad to use
No.
crowdfunding. It's just that you don't want to make it your entire business model, which
It's
we'll
the,
get more.
it's the same aspect of like using one tool as like your screwdriver for every job. Like that's not going to work. Like it's a tool in the toolbox, but it's not the only one. Like you have to learn how to use the other tools.
Yeah. So anyways, so there are times to use it. So because of that, we wanted to list off the types you can use and how they're used, and that's why I wanted to separate that.
Yeah.
Like, so we've got like crashing in the background. We've got Kickstarter.
Crashing in the background.com.
So first there's single projects that you can do. There's like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. We can do GoFundMe for some of those. Those are
GoFundMe is more personal, like medical type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can still be used for anything. Like, honestly, that it just became that recently in the last few years because so often that's what it's used for.
Yeah,
but it can still be used for one-off projects. But that's primarily what they're for. And the benefit so Indiegogo and Kickstarter are definitely the two primary ones. And the benefit between the two is that Kickstarter, because it has such a powerful brand, you're more likely to get funded. But Indiegogo allows you to keep the money that you raise, even if you don't meet your minimum,
Right.
or your goal. Where Kickstarter, if you don't meet your goal, it gives the money back to the it's all or nothing. And so that's the main difference between those. But there are other ways, such as like Patreon, or other. I don't even know if they have membership platforms. Now that I think about it, Patreon's the only one that. See, look at that. It's good branding. But that's a way to have, as opposed to having it be crowdfunded, it's more like you're crowd supported. It's more like people actually paying for memberships, because you still eventually have to give them something for supporting you. So it's a good tactic. But those are some platforms that those are the platforms when we mention crowdfunding, we're referencing all of those as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of obstacles and struggles that people have to deal with when doing Kickstarter or Indiegogo, any type of crowdfunding campaign. I haven't done Patreon, so I can't really speak for that, but I know like people promote the shit out of it. Like when they have a Patreon, they're like, "Oh, go to my Patreon." They post about a ton. I've seen like through Instagram or whatever, but Kickstarter, like we've had issues with that. Like you have to have like a focused goal, focused topic on your Kickstarter campaign. You can't have multiple things. We failed on Kickstarter once because it was focused on more than one thing, and people were so confused on what we were trying to accomplish. It was called the Indie Revolution, or Sierra Nova Comics Presents the Indie Revolution, or something like that. And it was for our video game. So we would get funding. Basically, it was like a startup stuff, because people were asking questions like, well, what is that for? So it's for getting money for Comic-Cons and all of that stuff that you need.
There's money to make comics, go to Comic-Cons, build our video game, and improve our platform.
Yeah, and it was like $15,000 or $20,000, but yeah, that didn't work out as well as I hoped. So, so then we ran another Kickstarter and it actually worked, but that was only for a comic, so it was focused.
And I would say that the other big thing too is that even though the first one we had an audience, in our last podcast we talked about building the importance of building an audience, and that's the other thing too is that link in the description or link in do the card yeah. But it's important to know that if you don't have an audience, even if you wanted to attempt crowdfunding, your efforts will go to waste. And so your time is better spent building your audience before you even begin to crowdfund. But even when you begin to crowdfund, if you're not focused, then your project can, fall through because people are confused. It's the same reason why you don't put the entire store on sale. It's much better to put one item on sale because then people know what to look at. You don't want to distract them with 15 different items that are on sale. Which one do they buy?
Yeah, you don't want to make their attention deficit disorder worse. You want to give them a nice little place to focus.
I'm here now.
Not be confused. And that wasn't an insult, Dylan. Sorry. Just mean, you want, especially in this day and age, like where a lot of entertainment can be found online. There's numerous different choices, so you want to just give them the most simple choice available, and let them make numerous amounts of simple choices as opposed to one choice that has a varying amount of different things on it. So I think the focus aspect is something that we failed on as well, in a little bit just in the naming of of our campaign too, which was pointed out to us. So that was definitely something that it was kind of like an aha moment. Like once you said it, I was like, yeah, that was really dumb. Why did I do that? So it definitely, I think we learned a lot, and we definitely learned that I think a platform that's more like Patreon is better for us as opposed to like Kickstarter. And I think it's because we're good at the aspect of like production in production as opposed to like having everything ready up front. Yeah. So, but again, that's just one of the tools. You don't want to have it be your entire toolbox. Like we're not going to live and die on Patreon. We're not going to live and die on Kickstarter. We're not going to live and die on any crowdfunding or any one method of monetizing. Like you have to keep like looking for varied modes of monetization. And, like you were saying about Google is like the last pillar. Like it's the last thing that will fall. Everything else could fall, but like email is, king basically. So it's like you have to understand that there's varying platforms for what you want to do with yourself, but it's just utilization of those things and then realizing which one is like the pillar. And really
I would definitely say too, the other important thing is that something that's more important than having a Kickstarter campaign or some crowdfunding campaign is simply to build attention to your business, to your brand, everything. Because if you've got 1 million people that know you exist, the odds that you can't make any form of income is almost zero. Like you'd have to try not to get money. Right. And so I'd say that over anything, no matter what platform you have, the attention you go after is much more important than the platform you choose to go after it on. Right. Indiegogo might be the right choice if you want to try to run a $20,000 campaign and you think you might get 10, right? So it all depends on your audience size, what you're going after, and what you're offering.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Some of the struggles that people do go through running a campaign is like trying to get people to the campaign, for one. People don't know it's even happening. Even if you did like a pre-campaign thing, like you post about it every day for like 3 months or whatever it is. And you announced it in your email and all of that. It just got lost in the shuffle. So what I did to get people is I messaged every single one of our followers on Instagram, every single one. I sent a personalized message, so I didn't have like a copy and paste situation going on, even though I did get like blocked for a little while on Instagram because I kept sending messages. They're like, "You're a robot." So I sent
that's what she said.
So I sent a personalized message with the link to the campaign to like each one of our followers. And then once Instagram was like, you need to stop for a little bit, then I went to Facebook and I sent it through Messenger and did that. I even did Facebook groups. I did to Facebook groups so much I got banned from Facebook groups for months.
Yeah, which I would just say the reason why that's important to know is that you can't forever always be messaging everyone. Yeah. Eventually, you need to weed out your real fans, your real audience, and the only way to do that is Quant. Like you can't. If you interview 100 people, the odds you're gonna get quality people for your audience is minimal. If you interview 1 million people, the odds is drastically increased. And so the point is that even if you have an email list, like think about how many emails you skip every day, right? So why is your email standing out?
Yeah.
Think about for Facebook, like you follow 3,000 pages, you probably see 4 of them. Your page is just another one of those. Just because it's important to you doesn't mean it's that important to everyone else. In fact, that's the same with any business owner. No employee you ever hire will ever care more about your business than you do.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the point, is you got to be super involved with it and know that, like, at best 1% of your whole audience might do something with you. Right. So if you have 1,000 people, you might get 10 people. Right. And that's what you want to shoot for. And that's why you want 10,000 people. Right. And if you do it that way, you won't even need to crowdfund, but it'll allow you the opportunity to crowdfund if you want to do something quick and not on your own dime.
Right. And you kind of have like this, when you have a success, now you have a tangible thing that you've succeeded at as well. Like, I've accomplished this, So there's, I guess, a little bit of like public prestige that you get from, having successes like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I made it like a mission to actually succeed on our like last Kickstarter, because like building up to our Kickstarter, we failed literally like a year ago from like whenever that was. And
Greg, before you keep going I was going to say on that specifically, note what Greg was saying is that he went in believing he was going to win, right? Like, that's another important thing. That's another reason people lose, is that they go in and they hope it works out, but hope doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I literally was posting like, pre-campaign kind of stuff, like post every day. And so social media is super important for that. And I said, oh, look, we like failed like a year ago. Look at that. And I made it like a mission, like from that moment, to be like, oh, well, we're not going to fail this time. And we didn't. We maybe made almost double our goal. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But it should not be your business model.
I mean, what would be, in my mind, the reason why it shouldn't be a business model is because I don't believe that anyone, like when you're a business like what we are, like when we have content, we're content creators, and then we like essentially we build the audience and we sell the content, or we sell memberships, or we sell things like that. Like, it's not like we're not selling blenders, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a different kind of business, that it's more or less like you should have numerous outlets. We have coasters for the blender to sit on, though, just so you know. We do have products like within the realm of what we're doing. But again, that's another method to monetize like our brand and like things like that. So there should be numerous paths for you to end up.
Well, that's the other thing. If you've got 1,000 people that love everything you do, they're going to want a mug. They're going to want a T-shirt. They're going to want something from you to support you. Like, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, someone that I follow, very intensely. Like, he gives me so much value and there you go. He gives me so much value and information that I had to buy a shirt from him. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't need a shirt. I got 600 other T-shirts. Ironically, I do wear his shirt a lot more than those other shirts now. But like, that's aside the point. It's the fact that like I felt almost obligated to pay him, and he's never asked for money.
Yeah.
Right.
I have 3 pairs of shoes that he signed on.
Right.
Like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
I've never bought shoes like that were more than probably $60 until I bought his shoes, and I've never bought them online. I've always went to like Zoomies or something, bought like shoes there, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought his sneakers like online, and I was like, oh, I was so excited for sneakers. But
Yeah, I think what you're touching on too is like really, it's kind of like an important statement. It's kind of like we're actually sellers of content. We're actually sellers of like intangible kind of like emotional attachments, you know? So like we have to have numerous avenues of like, again, capitalizing on those things, you know, in many different ways. So like we've added enough value into you as a viewer that you're like, yes, this is awesome. And it's always going to continue to be awesome because these people are awesome based on what they've already provided me. And yeah, having a t-shirt, having a mug, having gym shoes, having whatever, you know, attached to that is like, it's kind of like a way for somebody to like give back from what they've already gotten. You know, it's like, it's not obligation in the social aspect of, I want to give them something back because they've given me so much kind of thing. It's less like buying a product. And I guess that's
yeah,
exactly
it's the law of reciprocity. You just give so much value in your time and your artistic ability that people want to give back to you. And so that's the thing. That's why, like, that's part of the reason why our platform's free to sign up. Like, it's just meant to, we want to give away that content as much as we can, the enjoyment. But like, obviously, we're not going to pay for a shirt and send it to 3,000 people. But if they want to support us, they absolutely can.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. We got through that.
We're here. We're alive.
Breakfast Talk.
So, yeah, that was episode 5 of Breakfast Talk.
Breakfast Talk.
Breakfast Talk.
Make sure to smash that like button and
subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Make the little ring things next
to
to it.
You should like it and share it too.
That reminds me of Bob's Burgers. Da ding ding. Da ding ding. No, you never watched that? Oh. All right. Well, yeah.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have.